I've always had a fascination with the paranormal and supernatural. Spooky stories are my jam. It all started back in elementary school, reading the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark series by Alvin Schwartz. This probably had some influence on the story that I'm about to tell. During the summer of grade 12, my friends and I had decided to have a party in celebration of Canada Day and graduating high school. My friend Joel had just turned 19, the legal drinking age in Canada, and had purchased a decent amount of beer for us all to drink. A mutual friend, Candace, had a house to herself, as her parents were away on vacation, and allowed her to have a few friends over. As the get together was dying down, Joel busted out a box from his backpack. At first, I thought it was Monopoly, and I had gotten really excited because back then I really enjoyed playing the game. However, upon closer inspection, I noticed that it was not Monopoly, but in fact a Ouija board. I was spooked at first. At the time, I was into the church scene. Because of that, they also had me recite the Lord's Prayer before playing. But I digress. After some coaxing from Joel and a few beers, I agreed and went along with it. We set up the board on the kitchen table, lit a few tea lights, the small white candles, turned off all the lights, and began to play. We started off by asking the regular questions. Is there anyone with us? Who are you? Etc. Then Joel became a little ballsy. Probably through liquid courage and young stupidity, he asked, is anything bad going to happen to one of us? The planchette slowly moved to yes. Our obvious next question, who? The planchette quickly moved towards Joel, resulting in him throwing his hands off the planchette. This is a big no-no. I mean, besides not using the board in the first place. I know now that was our first mistake. But to break the circle without saying goodbye, I'm sure that's what caused everything that transpired next to happen. After cooling down, Joel put his hands on the planchette, and he continued. Candace asked, when is this going to happen? The planchette moved to 2, then 1. We all looked at each other puzzled. Then I asked, what is going to happen? The planchette didn't move. Then suddenly the smoke alarm at the front door began blaring, which prompted us to say goodbye. We all stood up, legs shaking. Joel turned on the lights. I dealt with the smoke alarm, and Candace blew out the tea lights. We pondered for a bit on how the smoke alarm went off. No one was cooking, the tea lights couldn't have generated that much smoke, and the smoke alarm was far away from us at the time. Not long after, Joel told us he was going home as he had to work the next morning. He packed up all of his stuff, including the Ouija board, and left. Candace was too scared to stay home alone, so I agreed to stay with her that night. The both of us stayed in the living room, her on one couch, and me on the other. The whole night, however, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. There was a heaviness in the room. The next morning, Candace told me she felt the same. After talking for a bit, I left. I'm still great friends with Joel to this day, but Candace has moved away, and I've never talked to her again. I hope she's doing alright. Still, this is probably the spookiest, unexplained event to ever happen to me.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to my very first episode of whatever this is. If you like the artwork, head on over to MikeJonesArtist.com. He's a good buddy of mine. He's got lots of artwork there for sale, including custom tokens for Magic the Gathering. So definitely check that out. Also wanted to make a huge shout out to Swamp Dweller and LetsRead for being a big influence on my life, and thanks for the great content, guys. And hopefully I can do some more stuff like this and I don't know, become YouTube famous or something. I don't know. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Have a great night.